Hello and welcome. I'm Danette Kubanda, and joining me today for a very special interview is Karen Horwitz. She is the Change Everything teacher who feels called to teach the public about what's really going on in education and why school shootings are here to stay if the fraudsters running our schools maintain their power. She's the author of A Graver Danger, White Chalk Crime, the stunning first ever explanation for our school shootings and how we end them. Thank you for being with us, Karen.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
So, Karen, what is the primary bad act that has earned administrators your corrupt label? And what are teachers' unions doing about it?
Good question. They have replaced the great call to teach teachers, those who used to help the gravely troubled students, and replaced them with puppet teachers to keep them in line. People who disrespect law and democracy are running our schools, and they're incompatible with call to teach teachers because they will report their wrongdoing. So they avoid hiring them and they purge those that they can't muzzle. To survive this system, teachers look the other way. An example of why they look the other way is a Florida high school teacher, Ed Coben, who tried to prevent a Columbine. He reported to the police that a student had brought a bag of guns to school. Because of that, his district criminally indicted him, accusing him of helping that child bring the guns. He eventually proved he was innocent after destroying his family's peace of mind, but who wants that? No one. So school shootings happen because teachers must look away when their leaders don't understand or care about troubled students. White chalk criminals prefer a few shootings here or there because they can't run real schools. Real schools mean teachers who will report them. They put their need for power above everything. Shooters from Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, Uvalde, all of those horrors were troubled students from the very school they attacked. The teachers had avoided dealing with those potential shooters not to face administrative wrath. The shooters are like canaries in the coal mine, warning us about how very toxic our schools are. And the unions you mentioned, they go along to get along too. They cover this up. I have testimony from an outstanding New York teacher who Randy Weingarten, who's now AFT union president, helped get out of the infamous rubber room, which is the concentration camp for teachers like me. She got her a clerical job and then helped her retire. She did not help her stay in teaching. The unions help those they help those with the power trash great teachers, since this is a go along to get along, mafia-like world. And that's what I'm trying to expose.
And when did you start trying to expose that? And how has it gone so far? What have you done so far?
Well, in 1995, I first discovered wrongdoing. So I called the Illinois State Board of Education to find out how to report it. And they told me there's no watchdogs, only school board election. I thought they would be, but they weren't. Parents are clueless about what's happening. And if they vote, they do so without knowledge. So there really are no watchdogs. So I decided I had to shine a light in this dark world. And I started by naming the wrongdoing, white chalk crime. And then I used the internet to locate teachers who had experienced similar wrongdoing and were as eager as I was to expose this. And I found them all over the country in all size districts. Then in 2002, I co-founded an organization to expose what made this corruption possible, teacher abuse. And then amongst other things, to expose this, I posted teachers' abuse stories at our website. Meanwhile, I took my legal case through the courts all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to document whether the courts supported teachers. I proved they don't. I contacted public officials a lot, and I created a paper trail of all who ignored that. And this was most everyone. In 2008, I wrote a book about white chalk crime, hoping to secure an investigative reporter to blow the scandal open. And then in 2019, I published a condensed version of that book. I just published my memoir and manifesto to reach citizens this time, because we need a grassroots movement to expose this. My work is not just to expose the crooks, though. It's about having real schools. My education plan is as powerful as Jeff Bezos' plan for marketing or Steve Jobs' plan was for computers. I need citizens to learn about it and demand we implement an agreed upon version of it.
And how can this be so bad, but no one seems to know about it?
Well, to do this, I've worked 29 years earning no money and spending money. So there's not a lot of candidates for that kind of a job. And more importantly, people misunderstand abuse. It's an act that takes place when power is terribly skewed. Predators know they can do whatever they want. And most people heard what power allowed Harvey Weinstein to do for decades. It took 30 years to expose what priests were doing. The predators succeed because what they're doing just sounds so unbelievable, especially when they're trusted leaders. Even reporters don't believe teachers. In around the year 2000, a Tribune reporter listened to my story about how I was fired in 1999 for speaking out and how they were withholding my hearing record, pretending they can't find it so I can't get my hands on it to appeal in a real court. The district had altered a document in the record, and I wanted that decision to show how unlawful they were. She listened to me, and she said, I don't believe you did nothing wrong. Schools need good teachers. I told her I understood, but I'm going to make it my life's work to prove what's going on. But no, they did something wrong. The law says they have 30 days to render a decision. It's over a year. She agreed to follow up. She called the Illinois State Board of Education, and as a result, she scared them. The district subtly found the lost record, and I got my decision about 2 months later, 19 months after the date mandated by law. That reporter never followed up, even though she caught them breaking the law. That was over 20 years ago. Think of all the children that died in our schools and all the active school drills, that mortified children that would not have had to be had she followed up. By the way, the altered and original documents are in my book. It takes a special reporter like Ronan Farrow, who helped put Harvey Weinstein in jail. Teacher abuse is a powerful cover-up tool. It turns prey into puppets. And I intend to be like that one actress who finally ended Harvey Weinstein's wicked ways. So I wrote a book with such detail that the only way change in education won't happen is if no one reads it.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this, Karen. To learn more about Karen, her book, and all of her projects, please visit her websites at whitechalkcrime.com and endschoolshootings.com. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.